So, Jonathan, movies. We're in a movie theater now, the great Scotiabank Theater of Cineplex. You folks, certainly like everybody else, got hit maybe harder than others during COVID.
Thanks for reminding us. Yes.
Yeah, thanks. But coming back. So tell us, how do audiences look? How do impressions and eyeballs look?
Yeah, I mean, we are at that point where we're changing the conversation from "are they" to "they are." They
Great,
are back.
great.
In fact, I brought. We just issued a press release this week with some very telling stats. But before I get into that, I just want to sort of paint the picture, give you a bit of context as to where we were at this point last year. We had just come off of the Omicron shutdown, yet another shutdown where many of our theaters were forced to close. We also had moments where we couldn't serve popcorn, which I think just pissed off people even more. But you know, the Batman in March of 2022 was really the first major release we had in this post-pandemic era, and it's been really a true ramp up ever since. Just to give you a bit more of a context in terms of stats, last summer we delivered 75% of 2019's box office with less than half of the product. So what we needed was truly Hollywood to catch up, and those production delays, COVID delays to stop, and then they were able to finally feed the funnel of productions. And I think we're seeing it this year. We're 6 months, barely 6 months into the year, and we already have 9 films that have breached the $100 million mark. Probably Transformers is going to be the 10th this week. So it's been a very, very good start to the year. And in fact, in terms of stats, April, and that was just released maybe a couple weeks ago, but April was the highest box office and food service revenue ever that we had, $105 million in 1 month. Pre-COVID,
wow.
Yeah.
We're back.
And it truly speaks to the experiences and the need to go out and have those experiences.
And be in person with people
exactly.
enjoying an experience like
Absolutely,
this.
absolutely. And it really translates to all the business. I mean, there's so many great things that have been said already. There's more people on the roads than ever, unfortunately, for all those driving in the city.
Boy, Toronto, traffic, wild.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah. There's a lot of dwell time in front of ads, though.
Yeah, exactly. Let's look at the positive here. Let's track those eyeballs,
right.
people. There's a lot of them. And in this June alone, we're already, and it's just halfway into the month, but we're already at 121% of 2019. So thank you to all of you for coming back to theaters, really.
Excellent, yeah. Coming back, Scotiabank. And it's so important. We're so much about connectivity. I mean, just being here together with people in person, enjoying education and experience and gamification as well. So the movies are a great place to be all together. You guys, of course, you're in the cinema business, but you're also in retail and other places. Maybe talk a little bit about where Cineplex is and how that's all doing.
Yeah, I'll start with the Rec Room, actually. For those who are not too familiar with the Rec Room, great sort of adult playground, so to speak. A lot of arcade games, sports bars. There's also a stage. There's all kinds of opportunities to get entertained. And it's done tremendously well for us in the post-pandemic world. It was a fairly new business even for us before the pandemic, and coming out of it, we're sort of mitigating our expectations, but we've been crushing it, and I think people are just revenge going out right now. Like it's, and it's fine by us, which is great.
Can I just pause you? That's great. You guys should all be tweeting that or LinkedIn or whatever. Revenge going out, and I think that's happening all over the world, and you can give Jonathan LaFlamme credit for that.
Yeah, I'm not even on Twitter, but you know.
Yeah.
Tag me.
Revenge going out. Do it on LinkedIn or Instagram. Go ahead.
And malls. So obviously malls, again, a space where we don't even want to have that conversation. Are people back? I think we've done a lot of tours with many of you in this room, and it's surprisingly super busy. I think what we need to do now at this point is invest in measuring how are people coming back. Because we're realizing now that it's obviously it's a very different world we live in, but the habits have changed. So we're seeing through third-party partners and data sources and all the work we're doing with our agency partners here that people aren't necessarily going to malls evenings and weekends anymore. Monday at 10 a.m. is just packed. Why? I don't know. I guess it's just the way we go to work is a bit
They're not
different.
going to work. They're
Probably some of that, or they're multitasking, I don't know.
Right.
But we need to understand that new journey. And I think that's even what Dan was referring to. We need to be able to provide that information to our partners so they can plan better accordingly.
That makes a lot of sense. And you're talking about people's journeys, their path to purchase. Let's talk about that, because that has really become more omni-channel than ever. And how do you folks measure that? I mean, on the path to purchase, at the point of purchase, you know, we're going from experiences to measurable insights. You guys working on that?
We are, thanks.
Good,
Barry.
good to
Yes.
hear. All right.
Omnichannel, the favorite buzzword these days, but it's important. And I think Francois really set the stage up very well for where we are heading. We're one of those retailers that sit on a massive amount of first-party data. And what we're seeing is that we're talking less about the location, the environment, but more about the audience, the people. Who are we reaching with those environments? And what we need to do as suppliers is to consolidate the two. It's like, okay, we need to do the studies ourselves, the research. We need to understand who comes into our brick and mortar locations. Not every cinema has the same audience. Not every movie has the same audience. We have very diverse content bringing all kinds of different cultures to theaters. When you look at malls, again, areas and FSAs make a huge difference. So we need to truly understand what is going on. And I'm sure, I mean, Cineplex has been all over talking about our first-party data recently. And just to give you a bit of context into how it feeds into the omnichannel, is that we're looking to now ingest all of the understanding we have of our audiences into the DSPs, and that's really what's going to inform us on this omni-channel purchase. Potentially even one day, not just the ecosystem, the Cineplex ecosystem. We hope that it will influence the purchase of our colleagues' media as well. So that's where we will work with our agency partners to make that happen. Last point, I guess, is measurement. Measurement's a huge piece. We still have to justify out of home is delivering, results. And to Nicolette's point and Ben's point, we have to be careful not to get too transactional in this conversation. I think we just need to show that we've pushed people down the funnel, and that's again what first party will allow us to do even better than before.
Well, it's great because, I mean, look, out-of-home used to be just a top-of-funnel medium, and now we are able to push people down and actually show that action is taken, that there's consideration going on, and people are, walking into a store, they're buying product, and they're maybe going to an app. So it really is becoming a nice full-funnel medium that way. And you've seen some good results in this new tool that you've been developing?
That's a good question because it's so new. We were literally like 6 weeks into the launch of our customer data platform. Right. What we've done with it so far is more so on the retargeting or targeting aspect of it. Sort of
using it for retargeting.
Correct, exactly. Good. Supporting an on-screen buy from our partners and then continuing that conversation out of the cinema to again, push down that proverbial funnel. We've seen great results. It's very, very new. I wouldn't even want to talk about specifics in a case study, but we were at about 300% of benchmark. So it's great because it's so targeted. There's no waste. It's like a double whammy in a sense. They get exposed to it on screen, and they're not new to the ad when they see it on their device. So we've seen great results. But if, with your permission, Barry, I would invite our agency partners here to work with us and create the first ever omni-channel cinema campaign with First Party and present the case study in New York in the fall. That'd
be great. Come October 10th, and it would be a great example to showcase at that time.
Would love to, yeah. And it's going out to you guys. The invitation's open.
Yeah, please get back to Jonathan on that. And being a great case study, we've got Talon raising their hand first. Do I hear anybody else? Talon? Do I hear Kinetic? Do I hear Group M? Do I hear Essence? That's great, and I appreciate you doing that. And it just makes such a great point because in the old days, once again, it was only top of funnel, and it was just about location. Now we can segment and target audiences, which does limit that way circulation, and it becomes then a digital medium, too, and it gets you the ability to attract digital monies.
Absolutely. This is opening up a whole new a bucket of opportunity for us, but I think it's really coming down the line for everyone. And what was mentioned earlier about the different retailers holding their first-party data with the cookie deprecation.
Yes.
We need to all get into that game right away so that we're all set up and we have our partnerships in place to benefit and not be left behind again. I think we're ahead of the game here.
Great point. And with the cookie deprecation going on, the power of context is even more powerful than ever, which goes back to it. Let's thank Jonathan LaFlamme. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Come on, give him a bigger hand.
Thank you. Come on.
There you go. All right, great.